Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Saying this is telling a lie. Okay, it's like that C.O. Williams guy that had an interview and he said he owned most of Barbados. Here in this particular installment, this particular blog, and it's probably put out by Alex Mitchell. I know Alex Mitchell just via talking to him on the internet, no other way, just the internet. But he probably spearheaded this, the woman who owned Barbados. And anyone with any amount of common sense would know it's a lie. When the white man was pulling out, he only was interested in selling his property to one person. Is that the only person the white man was going to sell the plantations to? Okay, one person, Beatrice Henry. What was her calling in life? How did she make money? Did they say she worked in Nelson Street? Is that what we heard? She had no children and she worked in Nelson Street and she bought up all of those plantations and she left it to her servant. She left it to her maid. And although the maid, her servant, what's her name? Violet Beckles, although she had children, it seems as though they were differently abled in some way, just differently abled. And they needed Alex Mitchell to spearhead this whole thing, to get this whole thing out into the public hemisphere. And he did. He did. Sometimes I would hear him saying that he owns all of Barbados. He owns all of Barbados. I take issue with that. I do feel that Alex Mitchell, if this whole thing were to be settled, I think that he should get a lot of money. Let's say, I don't think he ever will, but let's do the devil's advocate here for one moment. Let's say that the properties that were owned by Beatrice Henry and handed down to Violet Beckles and that are now in the hands, the paperwork is now in the hands of Alex Mitchell. Let's say that he were to be able to make way and claim stuff and do what he intends to do. What's the arithmetic on the dividing up the proceeds? He's not a family member. He is just someone hired by Violet Beckles. So how would that money be divided up? And obviously, if Violet Beckles' children are kind of differently able, in a way, you know, that money is going to go into their hands and out, but that's neither here or there. What percentage are they due? And does Violet Beckles, does she have other people there that will need money? And who's to say? Is there a board? Is there something set up to see and to show and to watch how that money is disbursed? Who are the members of the Violet Beckles board and all this land she supposedly got from Beatrice Henry? Who is sitting on that board? You need board members, you need a chairperson, and you need it to be organized. As I know, it is only Alex Mitchell, and he has been actually crying out in the wind on this particular matter. And if a board were to be set up, and it should be, if this thing is taken seriously, you will have to have within that paperwork who gets what and who doesn't get anything. And like I said, I actually feel that Alex Mitchell deserves the lion's share. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he deserves the lion's share. And take it from there. Take it from there. Yes, he deserves a lot. Yes, Alex Mitchell deserves a lot, but there are other people who are related to Violet Beckles that should get something. And within the something and within the ownership of certain plantations, let it not be said that all of Barbados is owned by one person. Don't say that Barbados is owned by one person. It is not true. It's a lie. Alice Mitchell, you are lying when you say that. You are lying when you say that all of Barbados is owned by one person, meaning you, because now you have that paperwork. Now, because Violet Beckles is dead, Beatrice Henry is dead, and you have the paperwork. You know, I don't know if the family has some of that paperwork too, or you have some of it, but you got pulled into it, and you are holding on to it. Yes, yes, I feel that as an administrator, you should be rewarded, handsomely rewarded, but you should stop. Alex Mitchell needs to stop walking around saying that he owns all of Barbados, or one woman owned all of Barbados. He needs to stop that shit. He needs to stop saying that shit. You know, it's not true. It can't be true. It cannot be true that the white man only dealt with one black woman. It cannot be true. There are other people who had land, there are other people who own plantations, and other people own shit. And you know, there are even people from way back then that still own stuff in Barbados. It cannot be true that one woman owned Barbados. Okay? It cannot be true. So let's wait to see how he responds and what he says when he responds. And when he calls me, oh, Hufflepuffy, oh, blah, blah, blah. But he cools his head, he cools down, and you know, we can talk, but yeah, he gets real hot and bothered. But I am saying that he does deserve a lot. He does deserve a lot for bringing this thing and keeping it in the social media airwaves, or media airwaves. And if something were to happen, he deserves to be paid. He deserves to be paid, but then he has to establish a board in the meanwhile to decide who gets what, and who's the chairman, and who will be a director, or what he needs to establish. It needs to be more organized. What he's doing needs to be organized. It's, you know, Rome wasn't built by one person or in one day. It just can't be. It just can't be so. Okay, so organize, establish a Beatrice Henry, Violet Beckles organization, association, whatever, and have board members put on, you know, that particular organization. And then you probably need to go to the government and talk to the government about what, you know, is what and what is not. But good luck with that. Good luck with that. Truth speaking, I can't see this happening. I cannot see this happening. What do I mean by this? I cannot see anything that Alex Mitchell says is owned by Violet Beckles via Beatrice Henry. I cannot see any of that coming up in terms of, excuse the noise in the background, okay, please. I cannot see that coming up in any amount of, because it would be billions of dollars, close to multi-millions of dollars. I cannot. Who's going to pay for that? Who? Not the government. Not the government. I'm telling you, not the government. And if private people are on these lands and they bought it, how do you go about saying, well, you know, it's not yours and you didn't own it, you may have been there 25 years, but it's not worth blah, 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 blah. That could go on forever. It can go on forever, but good luck. Good luck, Alex Mitchell. And like I said, if anything were to come out of this, you deserve the lion's share. And in the meanwhile, you should organize some sort of organization and have members on the board, and you obviously will be the chairman and the CEO or whatever, but you need to organize that particular thing, and then you take it to the government. Okay, this is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.